Hello and good afternoon to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well and all of you are in good health. So in today's class, we will be talking about SEMA methodology. Now, SEMA is another methodology developed by SAS, that is Statistical Analysis System, for data mining modeling. Now, SEMA basically stands for Sample, Explore, Modify, Model, and Assess. Now, these are the five identifiable phases that SEMA model has in it. Now, the first phase is called as sample phase. So here, the process starts with data sampling, that is selecting relevant data set for modeling. Now, the data set that is collected should be large enough to convey all relevant information, and it should be small enough so that it can be efficiently managed. So this should be the property of the collected information. So it should be capable of conveying everything that is required, yet it should be manageable. Now, this phase is also concerned with data partitioning. Now, the next phase that you have is called as explore phase. Now, it's very important for us to identify all possible relationship that may exist between the data set that has been collected. Now, explore basically tries to identify all possible anticipated and unanticipated relationship that may exist between the variables. It's also concerned with identifying all possible abnormalities as well as the relationships with the help of data visualization. Now, next phase that we have is called as the modify phase. Now, the modify phase is a phase that is capable of preparing data as per the requirement of the modeling strategy. So, modify phase contains methods to select, create, and transform variables in preparation for data modeling. Now, once the data has been prepared as per the requirement of the modeling phase, then what we need to do is we need to initiate the next phase that is called as the modeling phase. Now, in the modeling phase, the focus is on applying various modeling techniques on prepared variables that has been modified in order to create suitable data models that are capable of providing solution to the problem or capable of generating desired outcome. So here, in case of modeling phase, we tend to create different models using modeling techniques, and ensure that these models are capable of providing solution to the problem. Now, eventually, once a set of models are created, what we need to do is we need to assess the credibility of the model. Now, this is what is done in assessment phase. So here, the credibility of the model in relevance to the problem is determined so that an appropriate model can be selected for a given problem. So during the evaluation phase or during the assessment phase, the evaluation of the modeling is performed in order to determine the reliability and the usefulness of the created models. Now let us try to distinguish between CRISP-DM and SEMA and their pressure points. So the main difference between CRISP-DM and SEMA is that SEMA focuses on modeling aspect, whereas CRISP-DM gives more importance to other phases prior to modeling, such as understanding the business problem, understanding and processing the data used to be used as input, and application of data or machine learning algorithms for determining patterns that can be potentially used for building models for providing solution to the problem. Now, let us try to understand big data lifecycle. Now, big data lifecycle has in it a set of identifiable stages. Now, the stages are: first stage is called as business problem definition, second stage is called as research, third stage is called as human resource assessment, fourth one is data acquisition, fifth one is data munching, sixth one is data storage, then we have exploratory data analysis, followed by data preparation for modeling and assessment. So these are the 8 identifiable stages that a big data analytics lifecycle has in it. So let us try to understand what are the significance of each and every identifiable phases. Now, the first phase, that is called as business problem definition, aims at defining what is the problem, right? And the significance of the problem to the potential gain of of a given organization, right? Again, so this is what is done in case of a business problem definition. So here what we try to do is we try to define what is the problem that is to be solved, and then we also try to determine how much potential gain is the solution to the problem going to bring to the organization. So here what we tend to do is we tend to evaluate expected gain and the cost of the project. So this is also very much important, right? So it's no use pursuing a solution for a problem that is very that requires huge amount of investment in terms of time and cost, and it's not capable of accumulating desired gain for the organization. So this is very much important. So a business problem definition basically tries to focus on three important aspects. First one is the definition of the problem. Second one is how much potential gain the solution is going to bring to the organization, and what is the cost of the project, expected cost of the project. Now once the business problem definition has been prepared, what we need to do is we need to do a degree of research. Now what do we do whenever we do research is we try to analyze what other organizations have done in order to provide solution to similar problems. So this is very much important, because upon knowing what are the possible initiatives that may be initiated for providing solution to the problem, you may select an appropriate strategy and modify it as per your requirement, which may bring potential gain to your organization. So research is very much important, because we need to know what are the possible types of solutions that may be initiated for a given problem. So this involves looking for solutions that are reasonable for your company, even though it includes adapting to other solution in terms of resources and requirement that it has. Here what we tend to do is we tend to determine what is the benefit or the gain that the solution is capable of bringing to your organization. Now once you have an idea about how the problem is to be tackled, then what we need to do is we need to go about performing human resource assessment. So it's very much important for all of us to determine what are the capabilities that we have in us in terms of human resources. So once the problem has been defined, it's reasonable to continue with analysis of the current staff and determining their ability in completing the project successfully. So this is also very much important. So no matter how trivial or non-trivial the problem may be, the staff that you have should be capable of providing solution to the problem. Now if not, that is, if your team is not capable of providing solution to the problem, so anyhow you have to provide solution to the problem. So what may be the strategies that may be adapted in situation where your team is not capable of providing solution to the problem? What would be the mechanism for outsourcing the part of the system that is to be developed, that cannot be developed by the members of your organization? So this is very much important. So it's very important for us to determine the human resource assessment or perform human resource assessment. Now, once we have defined the problem, once we have performed a degree of research and we have determined our capability in terms of human resource, then what we need to do is we need to proceed on with data acquisition. So here, what we try to do is we try to retrieve all possible data that may be required in order to enable or facilitate data modeling. So this section is a key phase in case of big data lifecycle. So it defines what type of profile would be needed to deliver the resultant data product. So this is very much important. So what is the amount of information or what is the type of data that is required for providing solution to the business problem? So here, what we tend to do is we tend to gather data from all possible types of sources, right? May it be in structured format or semi-structured format or unstructured format. Now, after the data has been collected from all possible sources, which may be in structured or unstructured or a semi-structured format, what we need to do is we need to perform data munging. Now, data munging is a crucial activity where we try to maintain uniformity between all possible types of data that may be of significance during the modeling phase and may be taken from all possible different types of sources. So data munging is the process of establishing uniformity between the data items that are collected from different sources. For an example, right? As for an example, there might be different ways in which hotels may be rated. So, for an example, one mechanism for rating hotels may be having a value in between 1 to 5, right? Where 1 represents the lowest significance and 5 represents highest significance. The other way of rating hotels may be star, where 1 star means least significant and 5 star means the highest significance. Or it may be because it may be from a different, it may be in different format like questionnaires, right? Okay, so there might be different ways in which a rating of hotels may be done in different websites. Now here, what I have to do is anyhow, I have to acquire information about all possible types of hotels if I want to build up a portal that is capable of enabling customers to book hotels. So I need to give the ratings of different hotels, but as I've said, rating of hotels may be provided in different formats. So now what we need to do is, in order to ensure or in order to maintain uniformity, we may adapt to any one of the mechanisms for rating hotels. So everything has to be converted in terms of 5 star, or everything has to be converted in terms of 1 to 5, or everything has to be converted in terms of yes or no, or in forms of questions and so on and so forth. So that is what data munging is all about. So data munging tries to ensure that uniformity is maintained between all possible data from all possible sources that can be potentially used for data modeling phase, right? Because until unless uniformity is not maintained, it may be difficult for us to use the data for performing analysis and subsequently modeling. Now the next phase that we have is called as data storage. So once the data is processed and uniformity is maintained between various types of data that may be acquired from different data sources, so it's very much important for us to store the data, right? Store the data in a manner that the data itself is capable of facilitating algorithms in capable of facilitating algorithms in generating desired results. So this is very much important, right? Okay, so here now what we have is we have various tools that are capable of enabling us to store data in an efficient manner so that analysis can be performed with relative ease. So data storage is all about that. Data storage is all about the way how we can facilitate data or store data, and data storage should also, as I've already said, should also facilitate the very purpose of the algorithms. Now, once the data has been stored, now what we can move ahead with this, we can move ahead with exploratory data analysis, right? Okay, so exploratory data analysis basically refers to a mechanism for identifying all possible patterns that may be there in the data, or traits that may be there evident in the data. So once the data has been cleaned and stored, it is very much important for us, important for all of us to develop a good insight into the data. Now that is what is done in case of data exploration. So whenever we are trying to explore data, we try to unveil or discover patterns or traits that may be there evident in the data, and these patterns and traits can be used in order to make certain business decisions. So the overall objective of this stage is to understand the data. That is normally done with the help of statistical techniques, so as we have already said, and also our plotting can be used in order to represent the data. So this is a good stage to evaluate whether the problem definition makes sense, or whether it makes sense, or whether it's feasible or not. Now eventually we have data preparation for modeling and assessment. Now as we have already discussed, here in case of modeling phase, what we tend to do is we tend to during the data preparation for modeling and assessment phase, what we tend to do is we tend to reshape the clean data as per the requirement of the data modeling phase, right? Okay, so here what we tend to do is we tend to pre-process the values, pre-process the missing values. So for an example, here we have listed the set of activities that are performed. So in this stage, what we tend to do is we tend to reshape the clean data and use statistical preprocessing for determining the missing values, for detecting outliers, performing normalization, feature extraction, and feature selection. Then once the data has been prepared for modeling, what we need to do is we need to carry out the modeling phase, right? Okay, so modeling phase basically tries to apply various modeling techniques for building up data models that are capable of providing solution to the problem or are capable of generating the desired outcome. So once the model is capable of generating the desired or models that are capable of desired outcome are built, then what we need to do is we need to proceed on with the assessment phase, as we have learned in case of SEMA modeling and QuISP DM. So modeling phase is basically concerned with building up data models that are capable of providing solution to the problem or models that are capable of generating desired result. So it's very much important for us to assess, as we have already discussed in the previous class as well, it's very important for us to assess the credibility of the model, because we need to determine the significance or the relevance of the model to the very objectives that we have specified in the initial phase, right? So for that, what we need to do is we need to carry out the assessment phase, or we need to carry out the evaluation phase, right? So here finally the best model or the combination of model is selected, evaluating its performance on the left out data. So this is very much important, right? Okay, so here in this particular phase we not only create model, but we assess the credibility of the model in significance to the attainment of business objectives. Now eventually, once the model has been built. So what we need to do is we need to implement that particular model. We need to use that particular model in providing solution to the problem that has been specified in the initial phases. So this is very much important, right? So this is what implementation phase is all about. So these are the activities that are performed in big data analytics life cycle. So here what we have learned about is we have learned about that big data analytics life cycle has 8 identifiable phases, starting from business problem definition to research to human resource assessment, data acquisition, data munging, data storage, exploratory data analysis, data preparation for modeling and assessment, and eventually we have implementation phase or deployment phase. So in today's class, what we have learned about is we have learned about what is SEMA methodology and what does SEMA stands for, and we have also discussed the various activities that are performed in different identifiable phases of SEMA methodology. Then we moved on with big data analytics lifecycle, where we talked about the 8 identifiable phases that are there, or stages that are there in big data analytics lifecycle, starting from business problem definition to research to human resource assessment to data acquisition to data munging, followed by data storage, exploratory data analysis, data preparation for modeling and assessment, and eventually implementation. And we also talked about what are the significance of each and every phase, and we have also talked about the activities that are performed in each and every phase. So this brings us to the end of the second chapter, that is data science. So thank you very much. Have a very good day.